have got an episode for you this week.
Yes.
It is
about
an episode.
Video games.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, we're not doing
podcast.
genealogy.
No.
We're going to talk about PUBG on the Xbox, and version 1 is approaching on the PC, which is very cool. And, hey, new map. Hearthstone, we've got some info on that. Is this like an update? Is this new stuff? I don't play Hearthstone.
No.
It might be time to now that they have this exciting and fun new mode.
Well, I feel like if I could start playing Hearthstone, I want to do that on a tablet.
It is very fun to play on the iPad, but the computer works too.
Yeah, okay.
Or your phone.
Hello Neighbor. I remember seeing this game and going like, that actually sounds kind of fun, but it evidently isn't.
It's a big letdown, apparently.
Yeah. You skipped over some Overwatch.
I haven't skipped over that.
No, you
He
literally did. It was in
rearranges
order.
things in-
Have you not met me? I rearrange stuff on the fly.
All right.
He put it in alphabetical
I'm
order.
rearranging my fly right now. Overwatch Winter Wonderland event. Is it on now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. The Game Awards had some big announcements, and we'll get into that, plus some of the winners from the Game Awards, which, from what I remember, Zelda won a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, which made me happy. We've got some guy going off, evidently. Is it a rant of some sort? What is this?
Oh, yeah. Jeez, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. The whole Oscar Awards
He did.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And then Good Guy Epic, something about Fortnite.
Yeah. This is all Game Awards stuff.
Yeah, this is all Game Awards stuff?
All Game
I didn't know
Awards
this
stuff.
all came out of the Game Awards. I
Yep.
thought those was all different, like...
Nope.
Oh.
All Game Awards.
Well, now that I've
was
given that
good.
very concise
Yeah, it's all right.
list of stuff we're talking about.
The intro is really just a guideline.
Yeah, this is what's coming up. Plus, we've got questions, of course, from Vinny, Edsterturbo, Mansocks, Hijump. We got some cheap free games for you this week as well, including a Humble Bundle,
Yes.
which I need to, I think I mentioned it before, I still haven't updated my credit card info.
Oh.
Because my credit card got jacked up and I need a new one, and my Humble Bundle's canceled.
Oh.
I
This
know,
month
it's real
is good,
sad.
too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump back in. But first, we start with what we are playing. Who wants to go first?
I could.
Okay,
I love it.
Yeah.
do it.
I finished Little Nightmares, which
Finally.
Adam lent to me like
8 years ago?
6 months ago.
Something like that.
I've made a giant list of games I want to play and or finish, or at least play to the point where I'm like, say, I'm not going to finish this and I can take it off the list and feel good about things. It's currently up to like 25, 26 games. It's not good. And I'm like, I should finish Little Nightmares. It's not mine.
And it's not that long of a game.
And it's
It
like
takes
3 hours
priority.
long. And I was probably an hour and a half into it, and I got to a part where I was just dying over and over and over and over and over again. It was driving me nuts. And I just like said, okay, I'll come back to this later. And apparently that was like 6 months later.
That's fine.
And I went back into the game and beat that portion on the very first try.
Oh, nice.
So,
What'd you think overall?
like if I was going to give it like a number, I would say it's like probably like a 7 for me. I loved the aesthetic of it. I loved what the levels looked like. I loved what the monstery bad guys looked like.
Mhm.
I loved everything about that. I didn't like how, like, I'm going to compare it to Inside just because to me it's
Well, you
very
could,
comparable.
You could very easily see that they were like, "This is our inside."
Yeah. Although I think they came out close enough together that it was probably just happenstance.
Yeah,
But it felt very like the thing about Inside is if you make it pretty much past a screen, you're going to start over at the first of that screen. Like you're never going to go back more than seconds worth of gameplay usually. And when you die, your guy comes back to life instantly. Like you get murdered and you hit a button and you're alive again. And Little Nightmares was often like, I've ran across a couple screens to get this thing, and then I have to take this thing back to this other place. I got killed there, and I have to start over from, I need to go back through this room and this room and this room and get this thing and push this button and
then go
get this
double
guy
back.
in and grab this thing and go all the way back. And I don't think I was particularly good at the game either. And so I die a lot. And so, doing that 8 times when you're like so close to the, like where you can see like that's the thing I need to jump through to get to the next place was really frustrating. And then like the load times were not long, but felt really long. I'm going to say they were like 5 or 6 seconds, but dying and then waiting for it to fade out and then waiting for it to load and then waiting it to fade back in felt so long when I was doing the same thing over and over again
Right,
too.
right.
But ultimately, I enjoyed it. I actually played the last two. There's like 5 stages of that, and I played the last like 2.5 with a walkthrough, and just like literally was, do this, and I'm like, and it made it so much more enjoyable to not have to figure out, especially because so often you'd do this thing and do this thing and do this thing, and then do this thing and get somewhere and go like, what do I do here, and then die, and then have to go do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing. Okay, now, I got part of it. I died. And
then do all of that again.
Yeah, it was really nice not to have to do the steps of doing that and dying over and over and over again. Right. So it was good. Did you read any like what the story's about?
No, because I tried to figure out on my own what was going on exactly. But is there a whole narrative kind of together-ish?
I don't remember if it was IGN or Prima Games. One of them actually has a like, this is what we think the story is based on, like contextual clues and what we've seen, and that story's weird, man. The story's real weird. So
I mean, you're walking through a giant ship with a bunch of weird, overly gross, nasty people eating children.
And so the theory is,
I'm assuming it's
is that the like geisha lady is your mother. Geisha. Sorry, I apologize. Is your mom, and she is mad because you're more beautiful than she is, and that's why she's imprisoned you in the bottom of the ship with all the people they're eating, and that's why you're escaping and eating the essence of things in order to take her place. Yeah.
Gross. Well, that's somewhat disturbing.
But yes, they are raising children to eat them too. So
are they raising children there, or are they like kidnapping them and bringing them there?
I'm not sure. I think kidnapping and bringing them there, and then feeding them to the horrible fat people that then she is taking the life from them, and that's how she maintains her youth and beauty and so on.
Interesting.
So don't know if it's true, but
well, that's creepy.
Yeah, real creepy.
Thank you for that.
Anyway, so I finished Little Nightmares. Are we going to talk PUBG Xbox later?
Yeah, we should probably just put it out all at one time.
I played that.
We just know you're playing it.
And then I'm like 75% of the way through Wolfenstein New Order, which
That's the new one.
No, it's the old one.
Oh, that's the old one.
It's the one that came out in 2013,
new
2014.
is the new one.
Yeah.
New Order is the old one.
Yeah,
okay.
so this is Wolfenstein New Order. That one's Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus.
Gotcha. Enjoying it? It's fun?
Really enjoying it. I was talking to Vinny about it today, actually, because he's played it, I'm going to say like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I'm shocked at how much story there is. Like you think it's Wolfenstein, like just killing Nazis, right? And it's got a really, really, really good story that's really interesting. Like I'm glad I played this so I'll know who the characters are in the next one, because some of them, like there are characters in this one actually that were from the 2011 game, I believe. So it's actually kind of got this continuing story, and it's been really fun. I got like probably a quarter of the way into it, and I was like, I'm enjoying this, but really I just want to hurry to get through it. And so I turned on the gun cheat that gives you unlimited ammo, and that's made the game actually like 15 times more fun, because it went from like kind of a really slow, like a lot of that game is slow paced, stalking Nazis, stabbing him in the back so they don't set off alarms kind of thing, to a crazy gore fest of like, who cares if they set off an alarm? I've got dual wielding auto shotguns that, and so I've really enjoyed playing it as kind of almost more of a Doom style, real fast paced action game.
And are you playing it on Xbox?
PC, actually.
Oh, PC. Okay, okay.
So it's been a good time. I'm excited. I'll probably finish that, I would guess, actually tomorrow. So that'll be fun. And then I don't know if I'll go straight into New Colossus. I might play something else in the middle to cleanse my Nazi killing palette. We'll see.
But it's always fun killing Nazis.
God, it's fun killing Nazis.
Nice.
It's really good. And some of them are just evil. Like there are, I mean,
I'm going to say all Nazis are evil.
Well, but I mean, I think you have to, especially in the context of World War II, you have to presume that a lot of Nazis aren't actually evil. They're just people that have, I mean, it's very easy to turn a populace against another populace. Really. Yeah. And so, like, not all, in the context of World War II, all Nazis weren't evil. In the context of this game, there are bad Nazis, and then there are really, really, really bad Nazis.
Gotcha.
So,
Cool.
Currently, all Nazis are bad.
And you're playing that on PC as well?
The new one?
Yeah.
No, I've got that on.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Xbox.
No, New Order you're playing on PC.
I got
Gotcha.
I got New Colossus on the X. So
nice, super fun.
It's good.
Dylan, what are you playing?
Well, The Division was free to play this weekend, so I finally gave that a try.
Oh, you'd never played it before?
Never played The Division
What'd you
before.
think?
It looks really neat. Like, I like the atmosphere of the game. I enjoyed it. It was fun, but the biggest hang-up for me, I think, is in a game that is a somewhat realistic-looking shooter. Like, this could happen kind of shooter.
Right.
But the fact that it was so much kind of like Destiny, where like the enemies are bullet sponges, and it's like that's kind of a turnoff for me when I have this realistic SMG with this realistic number of bullets in the clip, and I realistically can't kill this guy.
You're realistically shooting a dude in a hoodie,
and at first it was fine until I kind of fought the first boss, and he just tanked so much damage. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Yeah. But then as he would get lower in health, he would, to me, it felt like he knew that he was a bullet sponge, and he would eventually just run at you and kill you. And there wasn't a lot you could do because you're not at all a bullet sponge.
Are you playing it single player?
I was playing it by myself. But it was also the first.
Doesn't matter. That game's absolutely no fun single player.
The first mission you do in Madison Square Garden, like even that first mission, and having another person, even just one, makes it a whole different game.
I've played a lot of it 2-player, and I think it would actually be better 3 or 4 player.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It would make sense, but it still doesn't make sense that a human can soak that many bullets. But that was kind of the big. Like, I really wanted to play it, but I just didn't. I'd rather go play something else. Like, I would rather there just be a lot more enemies to tactically kill with 3 bullets than to shoot one guy with 200 bullets. Like, that didn't really.
Yeah,
and it didn't really
that
make
only
sense
gets
to me.
worse. I thought.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, in a world now, because if you think Division came out before PUBG.
Yeah.
So in a world where PUBG now exists, that while it's not necessarily realistic, it's realistic in the way the shooting, like the actual
firefights don't last very long.
To me, even the
shot
difference
twice and you're kind of dead. Like,
to me,
even
the difference between that and Destiny, though, is like Destiny does not feel. Most of the time, I don't think Destiny feels bullet spongy. Anything that feels bullet spongy is a giant, armored, massive thing. Like, most things go down pretty easy, especially if you headshot. Yeah. Whereas in Destiny, I really liked The Division. I just didn't think it did a lot of things well. I think it did a really poor job of explaining, like, progression. I thought it did a really poor job of explaining that there are character types in that game. Like, there are literally loadouts for healers and tanks and for, probably a speedy, hunter-y kind of character. I don't know. But the game doesn't tell you about that. The game doesn't tell you very much that you really need to do all these side quests or else you're going to hit a weird level cap and you're going to go like, what am I supposed to do now? The game's fun and the game's beautiful. Like, that game is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cool looking.
I just don't think it does a very good job of explaining itself, which is weird because I think Wildlands, at least from what I played of Wildlands, felt like it did a really good job of explaining itself. Now, so I don't know.
Comparing it to Wildlands, is it similar in that way, or is it?
Wildlands did not feel spongy to me.
No, because it's like
I've only played like 3 hours of it though, so I don't know.
But that was just weird to me because it's like I like that idea, but like it makes sense in Destiny, but in The Division, it just didn't really. It didn't feel right to me.
Yeah, it's all about setting.
Yeah, exactly. So I never felt like the enemies were bullet spongy in Destiny because they're
giant aliens.
They were giant robot aliens, and it's like that's fine. And I was also tougher, so we're in a world where we can absorb damage from these weapons, and you can go hide and kind of recover like they can, or it's just a whole different world that you're fighting within.
Yeah, Destiny or The Division just. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I mean, I played it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It wasn't like a game that I hopped into and hopped out of. It's fun. It's enjoyable, and I'd kind of like to play it again. Yeah, but it's just not perfect.
I mean, I'm
okay.
Really interested in the idea that you could have this realistic
like
scenario with the healer and the tank and the assassin classes, like this class-based RPG style shooter game can exist, but it's just not quite there to me. So played a little Overwatch 2 because I've been neglecting it.
There's a sequel
lately.
Overwatch also as well.
Uh-huh. But you're the resident Overwatch player, so I don't know why you would ever neglect that.
because the one friend that I play with, if he's not on, I might just play something else like PUBG, because there's usually like 6 of us playing that at any one given time.
Yeah.
And playing team shooters is more fun with some semblance of a team. But man, I played my placement matches to get ranked, and dang, it was bad. Like, it's not my fault either. It's their fault. It's all my match teammates' fault.
Always
it's never your
terrible.
fault. It's fine.
I was carrying him so hard and we couldn't win.
He probably wasn't playing. He was probably playing against the meta, choosing players that he shouldn't have been.
I was definitely the character I should have been.
That's what I hear. That's what all of those people say.
Right.
Yeah, except some of them are wrong. No, it was bad. Like, some of our games, we would, like, how can we lose? We literally pushed the objective so hard, so fast, and we would still end up losing. It was just embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Right. Now, and we're going to talk about it later, but have you played any of the Winter Wonderland event?
Yet.
Not yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it just started.
Okay.
I think it only started yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. So, and I didn't play Overwatch yesterday. But, yeah. Me and my buddy, we were just so frustrated. We had to kind of just, like, walk away from Overwatch for a minute because it was just bad. And I guess that's what it is, playing competitive sometimes, when you don't get to a high enough rank where you're trapped with people who are good and people who are bad. So the games are so just all over the place.
All lopsided, and you're just kind of like, okay.
And you never really know what's going on. But we also kind of were having fun trying to learn new characters that we're not used to playing. Like, he was playing Mei and actually playing a pretty good Mei and putting up ice walls, and it's fun to use those tactics that you're not used to using because they're not the characters, and some of the characters have such fun abilities, like throwing up a big ice wall to disengage from a combat, or to block off one of their damage dealers or whatever, or to pin one of the opponents.
I'd like to throw up giant ice walls at work to keep people from talking to me.
Right.
I'd put it up.
I would just have a giant ice wall in front of the door all the time.
Right.
People are knocking on the window. I'm like, no, go away.
Do you see the ice wall?
I can't hear you through the giant ice wall keeping you away from me.
I think our door locks from the inside. I'm going to be honest.
I've thought about locking it more often than never.
Unfortunately, the front wall of our office is all glass, so people would know we're in there.
I'll put it on my headphones and stare intently at my screen.
Any other games you're playing?
No, not really. So
okay. I see what you're doing. All right, cool. So I've been playing. I put down that I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey and Okami HD because Okami came yesterday, and I was very, very excited to play it. But I ended up going out to dinner with a friend who was in town, and then having some drinks afterwards, and then had to come home and do work. So
Stupid friends.
I know, right?
That's why all my friends are on the internet.
Yeah.
They don't ever come to
that
town.
Might be a good idea. And when they
Stay
do come
on
to
the
town,
internet.
We
when
just
they
want
do
to play
come to
video
town, you don't even
games.
see them. So I've got Okami HD, and I want to play it. I've seen some of the gameplay video from the Xbox One X, and
I hear
it's
amazing.
Gorgeous, and I cannot wait to jump back into that and play that.
Is that a turn-based style fighting?
No.
Real time?
It's a very Zelda-like kind of.
I'm gonna have to get that. How much is it?
$20.
Oh, that's not bad either.
I think it was $20.
It's going on my giant
or maybe even
list.
cheaper, whatever it was. But so the funny thing is, like, when you pre-order something on Amazon, like a video game, when you pre-order it, it says this is the price, but you get charged the price when it's actually released and shipped. I saved 89 cents somehow on my Okami HD pre-order. So look at me. Anyway, I'm also playing Super Mario Odyssey, and I love it. It has taken over my life currently away from Assassin's Creed Origins. I think I've got close to 200 moons.
Wow. That's crazy.
Something like that. So I think my Odyssey's almost completely powered up, if not already all the way. I don't remember.
Call that a full moon.
I don't know. Huh? What did you say?
He's just making bad puns.
Call that a full moon.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to move my second dock for my Switch upsters into my bedroom. Well, I mean, you could have a second dock too if you want to have your first Switch get stolen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Trust me, it's not worth the $300.
Nope.
I think I'm going to move it upstairs because, like, there at night, like, I put my kid to bed and then I usually go downstairs and play games for like a half hour, 45 minutes. And there's some nights where I'm just like, oh, that's a long flight of stairs. I'm old and got bad knees.
I'm already up here.
Yeah, I'm already up here. Like, that bed looks nice. And so I think I might move my other dock upstairs so I can play on my TV.
I kind of want to get a second dock, and I can't wait for an actual third-party, not $90 second dock to come out.
They have a couple.
Well,
I want to get one of the travel ones. I think Nico, whatever it is.
I need to get something.
They make one that's like 40, and it's real small, so it'd be good just like throw in a suitcase.
Because we've got our big old 75-inch 4K blah, blah, blah downstairs with the sound bar and all that stuff, and Kevin likes to watch his stories and stuff. And I feel kind of dumb.
Are his stories actually soap operas, or does he watch?
I mean, American Horror Story kind of stuff. It's soapy. But, like, I'll be downstairs playing Mario on this giant 4K screen with this Dolby Atmos soundbar, blah, blah, blah. I don't need that for Mario. No. I can sit upstairs on our 65-inch 4K HDR screen and do it up there.
You're so spoiled, Adam.
I kind of am.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to get another dock.
Yeah.
But then again, this one, like, you can just unplug it and plug it in.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Mine's always behind something or under something. I put my Christmas tree up, and now I can't get to any of my stuff.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, for the 2 people that might be listening who haven't played Mario Odyssey, if you have a Switch, you should probably just do it. I waited almost a month before I bought it, and that was real dumb.
I do not have this in the show notes, but did you see that Nintendo has sold 10 million
10 million Switches in its first year.
In 9 months. It's crazy.
That's nuts. It's not even its first full year yet.
Yeah. It's a lot of Switches. I mean, Sony's done 70 million.
In 5 years?
Something like that.
Almost.
Yeah.
Well.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're Nintendo.
I mean, that's
I'm glad they had a console hit again.
So here's the crazy thing to think about. The Wii U in its entire lifetime only sold 13 million.
Yeah.
So
it's almost there in less than a year.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing tonight. I am going to go home and I'm going to play Okami after I go to the gym.
Ugh.
I know. I'm doing that thing. So. But yeah, so that's what we have been playing. If you're playing something that you think we should be playing, leave us a little message on the Facebook.
Just add it to my list.
Yeah, right. Add it to our 873 games we all need to finish playing.
I pushed over 700 on Steam.
Oh, man.
With the Yergol bundle or whatever it's called.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Yeah. It's still available.
If you are listening to us on iTunes, give us a little rating, give us a 5-star, and leave us a review. If we like your review, which we like basically every review that's nice to us, we'll read it and we'll send you something.
I still owe the Canadian one a rating and a sticker.
You really need to send him a sticker.
I do. I need to send him a sticker. If you're the very nice Canadian guy who gave us a nice rating, send us an email, bitemepodcast.com, and I'll send you a sticker to Canada.
Yeah.
We have a listener from the UK in Discord now.
Really?
I know, right?
What?
Yeah, it's awesome.
We're truly international.
I know, it's great.
Canada was kind of international, but
overseas.
now we're like for real.
Quasi-international, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we've been playing, and up next...
That's you, Dylan.
News!
That was a lot of preparation for that.
A lot of prep.
I had to lick my lips.
Oh.
He's playing video games, that's why.
What are you playing?
Kobolds and
He's
Catacombs.
playing Hearthstone.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way since you're playing it.
It was on purpose.
We're right into news. So Hearthstone has an update. Kobolds and Catacombs?
Yes, obviously
Explain it to
a
us.
play on Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, is it now?
Oh, got it.
Very obvious, duh.
To us, fluent.
No, it's not. A catacomb is not a dragon.
A kobold is a monster, and
so
a
you're saying
catacomb is like a dungeon.
You're saying it's a take on
Dragons and
Dungeons.
Yeah, monsters and mazes.
Gotcha.
Get it right. It could have been catacombs and kobolds, but no.
Anyway, it is much like Dungeons and Dragons, and they've done this dungeon running game mode where you're put up against a minion who is now going to play cards against you and has some special ability because he is some minion, whether that's summoning a minion like actually like a card or having some other ability where he can counter spells or whatever it is. And so each time you start this dungeon run, you start new and you are kind of leveling up much as you would in a game. So if you win, you get to select a couple cards to add to your deck based on a theme. So your deck evolves. You're not necessarily building a deck, but your deck is evolving with loot and cards that you choose from a theme based on winning your match. And I think there's 8 different levels to it, and they're random between 20 or so different classes that you'll fight against.
Okay.
So each experience will be different. You can choose any of the classes to be, which will open up different themes and then different loot and the ways those interact with the different characters that you play with in the game. So it's really fun for there to be a kind of a solo mode that's away from their narrative stuff that they do every time they add a new like adventure, which are very specific battles. Like it's very specific what they're doing against you, and you have to figure out how to counter that. Gotcha. This is a little more random without competitively playing against other players. Right. So I think it's a fun way to expand PvE, upon the game. Yeah.
Oh, see, I can get down with that.
So I think this might be something that might be more interesting for someone who isn't really into the deck building competitive play of Hearthstone.
So would this be is this a good thing and a good time for somebody who's never really played it to kind of jump in?
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's fun, and it's not a paid addition to the game. So this will just come, you download the game, you can play this. And I'm having fun with it. I haven't really dipped my toes too far into this yet. So I'm going to play it a little bit more. But I think it just released last week. But there's also a whole nother set of cards that come with this for the normal game. But this is a fun kind of solo mode that you can play in.
So you mentioned you don't have to pay into this current thing or whatever. For somebody who's I've only played it, just in passing. I saw Kevin playing it once a few years ago on PC, and I'm like, oh, it's a World of Warcraft card game. I could try that. And I tried it. It was fun. But if you want to keep going with that and really do something with it, do you feel like you have to pay into that to actually be competitive? Or do you think you could...
If you want to play this on a competitive level, then yes. You should probably expect to sink money, or you're just going to be behind, because you're really not going to have the tools at your disposal unless you play the game a lot, which you're not really going to be most effective just grinding. Again, it's grind or play the game competitively, and it depends what you want out of the game. Are you playing casually? Then no, you don't need to spend a dime.
Okay.
If you want to play competitively, the same with doing anything else competitively, you're going to spend a little bit of money, and that will go a long way in just getting you the necessary cards to build the deck around. To build any specific deck, it's not a huge price of entry. If you want to build 10 decks every competitive season when there's new cards, then that's going to be expensive.
Gotcha.
But if you buy the 50 packs of the new cards every 3 months when a new set comes out, that's not a lot of money, in my opinion, to
like
put in
a new
game.
set of Magic cards or something.
Right, if that's what you're playing, it's nice. They're digital. You don't have to protect your physical cards and store them in boxes, so that's kind of cool.
Nice. Okay. Well, it sounds like this new Kobolds and Catacombs is kind of I might jump back in and
it's
try
fun.
it.
Yeah,
give it a try.
I have a hard time thinking I want to get into Hearthstone because I don't really want to play against other people because other people are awful. But I kind of like the idea of a single-player Hearthstone. And I mean, it has a single-player mode anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you can play basically like against people that are just computer. You can play against AI.
Yeah.
But this is it's more themey. Yeah. So and you're dungeon running, so that's fun. Everyone likes to dungeon run. And really it's kind of cool how they just incorporated that within the game, and I think it works.
I like that.
And the looting mechanic works really well in the fact that you still are busting open card packs, so to speak. So it's like the games revolves around looting anyway, because you're getting new loot as in cards. So it kind of just lends itself perfectly into
That's really cool. I like that.
Fun.
All right. Well, there is that. Thank you for the Hearthstone update.
Now we can go back to playing
let's go back to the first thing here, though, in the news that we kind of skipped over first, so we could go to Hearthstone since you were playing it. So PUBG is out on game preview for the Xbox One.
Yes.
And version 1 is actually going to hit before the end of the year.
They say it's going to happen before the end of the year. I
heard
on
the
PC.
20th.
Yeah, the 20th.
Huh. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and there's also the new map that, what is it,
Miramar? I want to say. You've played the new map, too.
I have played the new map.
And he says it's interesting.
It's a lot of fun. What are we going to talk about first?
Let's start with the new map.
The new map. So the new map is completely different. Everything that you know about PUBG is basically different.
I don't know much about it, so that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's perfect for you.
Yeah.
It's so much more open because it's a desert, but there's so much verticality, and the urban environments are so much more dense. So it is exactly kind of what we hypothesized before, I guess, is by what they described it. But it's a lot cooler in the sense there's so much more variety. The buildings have more variety. There's more texture. There's more like just props within the environment. And it also helps that it's on the test server, so you can vault.
Nice. Vaulting's nice. I did it for the first time last night.
And it's awesome, and that's on the Xbox version currently, so we'll talk about that more. But and vaulting itself lends more verticality to the game, because you can actually kind of climb up things, and climb up them much more easily, because you could jump to things, but if you're going to spend your time failing jumps to try to see if you can jump on something, you're wasting your time in a survival game. So the vaulting is so smooth too, by the way. So I'm excited for that to be. I'm excited for version 1, but the new map is really fun. It's fun to drive the VW bus around and the big off-road Bronco style vehicle. So there's these different vehicles that fit within the setting. And there was other new weapons like the sawn-off shotgun. Instead of a pistol, you can have a double barrel sawn-off as your sidearm. So that's kind of cool. Again, that's not necessarily the map, but the map itself, though, is you're not just going to be working with 1, 2, 3-story buildings. There's all kinds of stuff. So you're going to have to look high and low to see where people really are. Again, much more urban fighting happens. And then what was the other thought I had?
Is it there's not a lot of because in the first map, the original map, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of trees,
so there's none of that. I mean, there's lots of hills and dunes and that kind of thing, but it's very, very open in between the urban environment. So it's like dense urban environment, nothing.
Wow.
So
does it lead to more immediate firefights because people don't? In regular PUBG, you can say oh, hey, there's a bunch of trees. I can go into those.
Right.
Does it lead to a bunch of people all going into the urban environments because there's a limited amount of them?
Yeah, I think it is more fight oriented in that you're not crawling through the shrubs as much.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of what the end of PUBG is crawling around in the long grass. It seems like a lot more fighting happens. So I think that's good. I'm interested to see if they take the old map and kind of spruce it up with a little bit more verticality or anything like that, or if it's basically going to stay the same.
I wonder how long they'll keep releasing maps for. I mean, is that going to be the game plan of this? Is every 6 months we get a new PUBG match, and that PUBG match changes how the meta works for that particular map.
Right.
I'd love to play PUBG in Vietnam, PUBG in...
Right.
I mean, you could even get to the point where PUBG could be historical. You could do PUBG World War I, PUBG,
or
World
parachuting
War II,
into the trenches, for example. I'm imagining more close quarters.
Well,
and
go, parachuting into, or D-Day, or...
Right. So I think...
into, France, or...
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
But imagine the replayability you get from just one map anyway is so incredible.
Yeah.
So it's
I just wonder if gamers suck.
Except for our listeners, you guys are the best gamers ever. Yeah,
obviously. When I say gamers, I don't mean any of you.
Yeah.
But that if all they do is release another map and then make small incremental updates, people are going to be real mad that their $30 game isn't getting updates forever. And I mean, maybe that's the other thing too, is maybe those maps are $5 a piece,
Yeah, who knows if it's going to be maps or if there's just going to be PUBG 2 eventually.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. And they just kind of
It's so weird to be talking about this. A game's not even out yet.
It's not out.
Officially.
Yeah.
What do you guys... So you guys both have it for the Xbox?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how that's going, because I've heard kind of... not so great things, but I've also heard people going, oh my God, it's on the Xbox. This is amazing.
Yeah. It's all over the place. And it's, again, one of the things you probably shouldn't read comments in any online forum about, because people are
I will not say that I have extensive experience in either version of PUBG. I think last night I played my 5th game. So I played 3 on the PC and 2 on the Xbox. So take that as you will. The Xbox version seemed just fine.
Yeah, it's just fine.
The frame rate was fine. The game's janky as all get out, no matter what system you play it on. So
again, it's not out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game's clunky. It's always clunky. Yeah. It doesn't matter on the PC, the Xbox, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters if you have a 1X or a 1.
Yeah.
People seem to think, I have it on the 1X and it works fine for me. This person over here has it on the 1X and they're like, it's janky. This person says it runs just fine on my normal Xbox One that I got day one.
Right.
So...
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I watched this side-by-side video. There was this guy and his buddy, and they were both playing together in the same game at the same time. One was on an Xbox One X, the other was on a One S, and the frame rate issue right off the bat when they get into the lobby loading screen, like there was a difference of a couple of frames per second between each console. But then when they were in the actual airplane as they're flying over the map, there was a significant 6 to 10 frame drop difference between the two.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if you're...
Which I've also noticed, I noticed that almost right away when I started playing on the PC.
If you're one of the, every game must run at 60 frames a second person and believe that you are one of the people that can really, really tell the difference between 30 and 60, which I am not.
I never thought I would be one of those people that would say that. But I totally can.
I literally cannot.
I wish I could
not.
Not.
Even remotely. And even when I'm watching side-by-sides, if I'm watching the same game played at 30 and 60, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay. Anyway.
But if you're one of those people, yes, I'm sure you're going to be horrendously disappointed in this game.
But this is not the game for you.
Yeah. If you're not, I don't know. Like I said, it was super enjoyable. The vaulting's great. It seemed to control fine with the controller. I'm sure if you wanted to do a bunch of inventory management,
it is a pain in the butt.
It would be a pain.
It's terrible.
How is the inventory management?
It's hard because it's so unlike anything you've ever done on a controller before. Because they did find a good way to do it, but it's not easy. If you do play it for a couple days, you'll probably figure it out. But it's a lot of you have to tap A and then basically you tap A on the item and then it says, you could put it on this weapon, and then you tap A again and it equips it. But then you have to you use the bumpers to swap between what's on the ground, what you have in your inventory, and what's on your weapons. So you're able to cycle through these things. So you're going to pick it up and be able to do it faster, but it is not as easy as just using a mouse and
the reality is
here.
I get a gun and then just go hide in a closet until the circle comes, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I play my first game on the Xbox. It went okay. There was a little bit more of the rubber banding that's pretty common than I experienced on the PC throughout the game. Usually it happens when you first parachute down within the first minute or so. That's when you experience the worst performance, I've noticed.
That's everything I saw is that it all happens between the lobby and the actual flying and landing. And then once you get into it, everything kind of evens
And I'm guessing
out.
that has something to do maybe with there's 100 players and all of a sudden now there's 40 players and it runs smoother. I don't know. That makes sense.
And I didn't have that problem at all.
Wow, okay.
So, but as the game went on, it lasted longer than it did on the PC and would be more intermittent. But then towards the end of the game, fine.
Right.
Ran fine.
Cool. Well, that's one thing we were talking about, too, is I think the rounds actually at this point are lasting longer. And either that's just because people on the Xbox aren't as good yet.
Yeah, they're just
familiar with the game.
Or the controller's just not as good of a thing to shoot with.
Which is I was in this funny firefight where it's me and him just standing off. And he's trying to shoot me and he is missing wildly. Yeah. And we're literally point blank range, 12 feet from each other, and he's like, brah, 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 and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna kill you because you're not killing me.
Yeah.
Right, here's a frying pan.
And I'm you're obviously using a controller because that doesn't happen on the PC because firefights are very quick on the PC, especially at that range when you're not hiding behind anything. It's click, 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 you're dead. That's it. And this was
And I had the exact same experience. I was stuck in a very small room with someone without a gun, and the only gun I had was a M16, which is fine for distance, but is not tremendous when if you move, you're shooting past the person because the barrel's longer than they are. Yeah. And so we were doing this weird dance in the room where she was trying to punch me because she didn't have a gun yet, and I'm trying to shoot her, and I blew 30 rounds trying to kill this person.
Nice.
And turned around and yes, she's finally dead. Or she wasn't dead, she was downed because we were playing duos.
Right.
And I turned around to leave the room, and someone shot me right in the head.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, crap.
You said 30 rounds. Now is the game $30?
It is $30.
It's $30, which is great deal.
Yeah, it is a great deal because you figure they're still working on it. And you got that version 1
It's not even
soon.
out yet.
Yeah. Eventually you're going to have a full game and you've been able to experience the whole thing.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed it, though.
Yeah.
It's good.
I think it is fun. I think the console lends itself to a little bit slower play, though, maybe. Just seeing as, I mean, a controller is definitely a different beast than using a mouse and keyboard. So playing Counter-Strike on a console versus a computer was always, it felt a little different. And I think this is something that might just play just a little bit differently on a console. So
it's definitely one of those games, too, that if you're looking for people to play it with, I think it's super fun single player, but it's definitely more fun duos or squads.
Yeah.
It's somebody is playing it almost every night on PC and Xbox now in our Discord. So hop on our Discord at night.
And I
there's almost
highly recommend duos or squads. Squads most of all. Like the single.
I've literally only played single player.
Playing by yourself is fun, but man, it is so much more fun with 3 other of your friends and really kind of communicating and filling out the roles and playing this game like a squad, because it is one of the only games where I've actually felt like communication really took it to the next level. And it is fun being like survival of the fittest battle royale 1v99. Like that's cool, but to me it's so much more fun with a squad. So
if you enjoy playing squad games, Overwatch, if you haven't played it yet, has a new winter event. Tell us
Winter
more, Dylan.
Wonderland. It's obviously the holiday season. As all big holidays, Overwatch does things. And one of those is the Winter Wonderland event, where we'll see some new skins this year, but we'll also be able to have the chance to get the older Winter Wonderland skins like Yeti Winston and Santa Torbjorn.
Oh, I love who did I see? Junkrat? He's got like a walrus skin or something?
The Roadhog, Roadhog walrus skin. I really want that one. There's also Hunt the Yeti mode, which is, I think, 4 Maze versus a Yeti version of Winston. It kind of plays on like Evolve, that 4v1 game that came out a while ago, but just a bunch of Maze trying to hunt a big Winston. So that's the fun arcadey mode.
That sounds kind of
this
fun.
time around, and I think this should run from now until early January. I don't know if they did give a date. I didn't see it. They probably did. But last year, I think it ran through early January. So I assume it will as well. It'll go right through the new year. Play it. Skins.
I'm still like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I need to get through Mario. I need to get through Assassin's Creed. I need to get through Okami, and I need to get back into PUBG. And once I've figured that all out, I think by November,
does retirement happen in there somewhere?
Something at some point. So, in the Winter Wonderland event, as of 2 days before this airing, before you listen to it, it's on now.
Get
Just
on
go
there.
Yep. The Rocket League one's on now too. Holiday.
Who plays Rocket League?
Me.
Oh, okay, that's right. Kidding.
I played a bunch last week. It was great. I played one game last night.
I need to get it for the Switch.
Yeah, it's fun on the Switch. I've bought it on the Switch. I've played it a couple times, but I've
got it on PC and I've got it on PS4.
It's probably enough.
That's all I need.
You need at least 4 copies of Rocket League. That's fast.
On the flip side, well, you've got it on the X. You've got it on the PC.
I've got a PC. Yeah, it's not Play Anywhere though, is it?
No, but you've got it on the PC. You're fine.
Yeah, I got it on the PC. All right. So this game came out, which I remember seeing the previews for it, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. This looks pretty cool. It's called Hello Neighbor. Evidently, it's not very good.
Yeah, it's.
I'll be honest. Like Dylan and I. Actually, I did not play it at PAX, but I watched Dylan play it at PAX like 4 times. And the complaints that people are having about it are the same complaints we had about it. We're like, what's going on? What are we doing? Where are we supposed to be going?
But man, it had so much potential.
Yeah, I guess,
and I don't know. I think I really need to try to play this, because I think there's probably a certain person that the game's for. It's probably not me. It's probably not most people.
It could be you.
But I also have to say, this game company, this developer is probably the best marketing team ever, because this game was looked like it was going to be the cat's pajamas, and it just isn't. But the bee's knees, is that better? Adam?
Bee's knees, that's fine. I don't understand either one of those phrases, but I'm assuming that means good.
We looked up the bee's knees the other day.
Yeah, we did. I don't remember.
We probably don't need to go down that road. Yeah. But so the biggest complaint is, well, the idea of the game is,
I was going to say,
your neighbor has a secret, and you need to figure out what it is.
It's almost like The Burbs. Get down in the Burbs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to fit. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
So you have to get down in his basement and see what's going on. And that's really it.
That's the game.
And basically you can interact with the environment in so many different ways, but you have really no idea what those are. So it's so much trial and error. But the moment the neighbor sees you and runs up to you, you restart.
Right, and the neighbor, and he learns,
and
each time.
Right, he's supposed to learn from what you're doing, which is cool. Like, that's all fine and dandy, but it doesn't do anything to hold your hand whatsoever. And the thing is that how you get down there, I think, is also kind of random. So it's not necessarily the same every time you play it. So I don't know, are you because he has a couple different secrets depending on when you're playing. But the puzzles are apparently so like illogical and really hard to, like, it's like grabbing this tool over here and going to hit something and just to see if it works, and then the neighbor runs up and start over and go grab that tool again and go try it somewhere else. And it sounds like it could be cured by a little bit of like
just a tutorial,
yeah,
or
like
a couple
tutorial.
of pop-ups.
And I wondered, like, okay, I understand this is a demo when I was playing it. So hopefully, okay, they're going to release this full game and, like, they're going to teach you a couple of things on, like, how to navigate through the world and how to use different objects. And apparently that's not the case. And really the demo was basically like the full game.
They're a super small team, too, that only has, up until this point, done, like, mobile development. They've got, like, a decade of mobile development, but maybe it just was too much.
Yeah, I don't...
It's just too bad, though, because, it was one of those games that had so much buzz. And, I mean, we played it everywhere. And, like, Tiny Build, who's publishing it, has been pushing it.
Yeah, and it was so interesting. Like, it looks interesting. Yeah. Like, it's like, the idea is interesting. It seems really cool and fun, but it just apparently isn't.
Ooh, IGN gave it a 4.1.
Yeah, it did not get... It's not well received.
Yeah.
I know we've got a lot of PC gamers that listen, so if you've played this, do we know anybody that's played this yet?
No.
I'm curious to hear what their thoughts are.
That's rough.
Yeah. If I can get it on a sale, I'll definitely pick it up, but I'm afraid to drop the full, like, $30 on it on PC or Xbox and just not, and think the same thing as, like, it's just not.
It's too bad.
True. But, so did either of you watch the Game Awards?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I live tweeted that.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay. So lots of stuff.
Yeah,
lots of stuff.
The Game Awards is an interesting thing because they kind of sell it as like it's the Oscars but for gamers.
Right.
And it would be like if the Oscars also had a bunch of weird sponsorships and strange commercials and like spent most of the time announcing new movies coming out and very little time actually announcing games. So it's a weird thing to watch, mostly because I mean I think we talked about it a week or two ago, like, oh my God, there's like 50 categories.
Yeah, there's a ton.
They only announce the winners of maybe
like the top
6
10?
or 7 of those on stage.
Oh, wow.
And so it'll literally be like Zelda wins Game of the Year, which it did. And as they're walking up, they'll like be a voiceover. Zelda also won for best this, and best this. And like that's the announcement.
Nice. Okay.
And it makes for a fun thing to watch, but it also makes it just like a fourth E3, you know?
Right.
So the winners were fine. Like probably the most Zelda won Game of the Year. Probably the most interesting thing I read was that Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, Senua's Sacrifice.
The voice actress from that won Performance of the Year.
Right.
And what was interesting about that is she's not a voice actor.
No.
She's actually the video editor for that company who just happened to do a really, really good job of doing the voice for that. But that Hellblade won a couple of awards.
Yeah, it won that. It won Best Audio Design. Yeah.
Cuphead won some awards.
They won Best Artistic.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else won. Nier won for Best Soundtrack, which is dumb because that soundtrack's not good. I think Persona won for Best RPG.
Cool.
So, that stuff was fine, but it was like, it feels like I'm being almost dismissive of that, but like literally the Game Awards are dismissive of that. So what I do want to talk about is all the new games they actually announced there.
Yeah, they announced a lot of stuff because I remember the day after I was like, I thought this was a Game Awards show, not a game here's what's coming up show.
I just counted 16 announcements.
Yeah, so let's go through some of these because there's some big ones in here, including one I'm really, really excited for on the Switch.
Yes. So first off is World War Z, which if you've read the book or seen the movie
was terrible.
I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, just as zombie movies go, but
I met the author.
Really?
Yeah, he was real nice.
Nice.
He
but it looks
my book.
Oh, fun.
Like your book or your copy of World War Z?
My copy of World War Z and the Zombie Survival Guide, and he also wrote a funny joke in there because it's basically he noticed that I am a tall person and basically said I should probably duck in a zombie apocalypse when the bullets start flying.
Isn't there another book that he wrote about Deck Z? It's about zombies on the Titanic.
Yeah,
was that him?
Probably. I would read the crap out of that.
Yeah,
I can't remember if that was him or not.
But anyway. Sorry for the little tangent, but he also it was awesome because he came to Central Washington University where I went to school, and he did a book signing, but he gave a hour-long, what was essentially doing stand-up, but making fun of zombie apocalypse too. And the guy is hilarious.
How bizarre.
Super funny. It was awesome though. The whole audience was just rolling the whole time.
That's awesome.
So, sorry.
No,
it was
World
fun.
War Z is a game that's coming out. I'm curious to play the game. I didn't like the movie.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks just exactly like the movie. Just hordes and hordes and hordes of zombies. A wave of zombies.
That's what I did like about the movie is just the wave of zombies, this sea of dead.
The part where they're
climbing on each other up over the wall.
Yeah, it was great.
That was great. Vacation Simulator is a game?
Yeah, it's from the people that made... Right? Well, it's from the people that made Job Simulator, which is a hugely popular VR game. That was the reason my kid wanted to get an Oculus.
It's the weirdest thing.
And it's $30, and I bought it for him, and he's like, okay, I'm done. I'm like, you've had this game for 45 minutes. He's like, yep, I beat it. I'm like, wow. So it looked fun, I guess. Accounting Plus is
I don't know. Is that HR machine or
whatever? I think you may have to really get a particular kind of humor to like this because I was live tweeting it and I'm like, that looks so horrible. Yeah. And everyone's like, it looks hilarious. So I don't know. It looked really shouty and screamy and obnoxious. It's from the people that make Rick and Morty, I think. Yeah. So it wasn't my jam, but it's another VR game. So VR is cool, I guess. It's going to be a PSVR title. It's coming out real soon. If you have an Oculus, though, or a Vive, I think it's actually free on Steam.
Okay.
Accounting. This is Accounting Plus. So.
Oh, okay. What is this? What is it? Some new game from Software?
So From Software is the people that make Bloodborne and
Isn't
Dark
that your
Souls.
Favorite game?
Yes, his favorite game ever.
Terrible.
And there's you should watch the trailer for this because it tells you nothing. It's like this just grisly, bloody, weird thing spinning with spikes and a chain, and so
it doesn't even have it's literally we don't know what it's called.
So we have no idea. Just that From Software is making some new game, and people are all over of what that could be. So it could be
looks disgusting, whatever it is.
It could be new Bloodborne, could be more Dark Souls, although they've said they're not making any more Dark Souls games. From's been around for a long time, so it could be anything from a long line of games, but it just was gross.
Right. The next one
is
here.
My most excited. I don't know when it's coming out, but I don't think it's coming out until 2019, and that makes me so sad. It's called In the Valley of Gods. It's the next game from Campos Santos, the folks who made Firewatch, and it looks just amazing. It's about two women documentary makers in the early 20s when documentary filmmaking was just kind of a new thing. They're filming it. It's absolutely gorgeous. They're making a documentary in Egypt and kind of trying to, Egyptology in the 20s was not like archaeology is today. It was more of a race to grab treasure than it was hey, let's actually try and find out about the lives and history of Egyptians. And so a lot of things were destroyed. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they play into that. And man, Firewatch is one of my probably top 5 favorite games I've ever played. So I'm super excited.
As soon as I saw this, I knew you were going, oh my God.
So excited.
Breath of the Wild expansion, that is out. Wait, is this?
It
this
is
is
out,
the one that's out. Yeah, the one where Zelda or Link gets a motorcycle.
I'm still very why does Link have a motorcycle?
Did you watch some of the gameplay of the?
Oh yeah,
it's hilarious. So, but hey, that'll make getting across the map a lot quicker.
Why?
I guess I don't. That's what I said. I'm
'Cause
like,
it's Zelda.
Why?
It's Zelda.
I guess
He
so.
doesn't need it.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, I guess he's got some sort of paraglider, so he can have a magical motorcycle, I suppose.
A
Soul Calibur.
paraglider is literally crafted out of like hide.
Well, I mean, the motorcycle looks like it was crafted out of like
Stuff.
I mean, like it's.
I mean, keep
it's
in mind
real
that
weird.
there's a laboratory, an actual legit running laboratory up in the northeast corner of the map. It's got all kinds
Can I
of
have, like, a
weird
magic carpet
gadgetry
or
and stuff.
something?
So here's the question: do you think the motorcycle breaks every time you crash it and everything? You have to get a new one.
Y'all are killing
Yeah,
me.
probably. You could probably only drive it so far.
And then it runs out of stamina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Can it climb everything?
Probably. I know you can hit. You can run over enemies with it. You can use it to attack. Why not?
all right.
I'll take on a
Is it
Lionel
a
on my
submarine?
motorcycle.
Is it a submarine also?
Sure.
Does it give you unlimited oxygen?
I don't
I don't think it's a submarine.
Did Zelda win the award for most swords broken?
Yes.
You're ridiculous. Soul Calibur 6 is coming.
Fighty.
Yay.
Yeah.
Fortnite has got a new mode that's coming out, or is
It's
already
out now.
is it
Actually,
out now?
it was out as they announced it. I really, really, really want to try it and just haven't.
Yeah, it's a 50v50 mode.
yeah,
instead
so
of 1 versus 99.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's
you
weird.
build up these big bases and then. Like, so it has actually the base build. I mean, you can build bases in Fortnite PUBG mode, but you actually build. I have not played it yet, so I don't know if it's like, hey, you've got 5 minutes to build a base and then the other team attacks. I don't know what it is.
Is it like attacker defender?
No, it's just go. It's you have 2 bases and it's literally
You gotta
last
kill
team
the
standing.
Interesting.
I have heard though it's only going to be available for a limited time.
yeah.
So if you want to play that, like play it
course.
now. Yeah.
So,
And then they'll be like, oh, everyone loved it so much, we'll keep it forever.
Yeah.
right. So the next one I was really excited about when I heard about it, just because I've not played these games.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I've not played either of the Bayonetta games.
Me neither.
I really always wanted to, but the original one came out on the Wii. Bayonetta 2 came out on the Wii U. And then when the Switch came out, everybody was kind of like, are we going to get this? What's going to happen? And not only are we getting Bayonetta 1 and 2 as a dual, single
you
release.
buy 2 and you get 1 free.
Yeah. We're getting Bayonetta 3.
So I have played Bayonetta, and it is the strangest game I've ever played. I played about an hour of it, and I think in that hour, about 45 minutes of that was cutscenes, and the other 15 minutes was
But
me.
they were beautiful cutscenes.
Me flipping around with my weird hairsuit and killing bad guys. It's real strange.
But it's fun.
No,
I've
maybe.
heard so much good stuff.
Yeah, I bought it because they re-released it on PC like maybe 6 months ago, and everyone was just raving about how amazing and how weird and how whatever it is, and it's all of those things. But
Gotcha.
I couldn't. I don't know. I played an hour of it. And I couldn't decide if it was good or not. So I don't know. I should try it. I should add that to the list.
Cool. Death Stranding. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's been a rumor. It's been a thing for years and years and years.
Well, like 6
Right?
months.
I thought it'd been longer than that.
So Kojima got fired from Konami, and he kind of made the studio. The first trailer was, I'm going to say, less than a year ago.
Okay. Is that the dude from The Walking Dead?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mads
Yeah, that guy.
Mikkelsen.
Mikkelsen?
Yeah,
Mikkelsen.
is one of the people, and the other person in it is oh shoot,
Sure.
crap.
What is that? Clive Owen?
Yes, it's Clive Owen.
I don't know.
Shoot, that's gonna bug me. But anyway, all these famous people are involved with it. I am 100% sure that Death Stranding is not actually a game that is being developed. This is actually a giant piece of performance art that Kojima is like just pulling over on everyone. This game is never going to be released. It's
That
just
almost makes me like it more than
kind of.
than
I don't know.
game.
We could double this up as our troll corner.
I tell you, man, watch this trailer and try and figure out what this game's about. Like it makes.
It's an 8-minute
It
mini
like
movie.
right in the middle of the Game Awards, an 8-minute Death Stranding trailer.
They played the whole thing.
They played the entire thing, and I watched it and just went, "What is this?"
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's so like there's a point in time where Mads Mikkelsen there opens up his mouth and you go into his throat and there's a baby inside giving you a thumbs up. I'm not even kidding.
I don't even know what that means.
It looks
I don't know.
like
I saw a
something.
Twitter thing the other day that said like, video game people seeing that. They're like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. This is so strange. Whatever. It's so crazy. And they're like, movie people seeing this like, oh, it's obviously representative of his inner child. I'm like, no, you're both wrong and it's dumb.
Right.
So this game, I don't think this is anything until 2020.
Okay.
And even then, like I said,
it may not be anything that we think it is.
Who knows? So anyway.
Well, there's that. Witchfire, it's a dark fantasy shooter from the astronauts. They were the ones who did The Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
It's gorgeous, too.
It looks amazing.
Holy crap. I can't tell if it looks like a game I want to play, but it is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So, we'll
Sea of Thieves, which I know has been kind of in like, is it game preview-y kind of thing? Is that what it would be?
Actually closed alpha
beta,
right now.
Closed alpha. So that has got an official launch date, March 20th, and was that their release date announcement, basically?
That is their release date announcement, but probably even the bigger announcement was that if you signed up for the closed alpha at any point in time before December 1st, everyone will be let into a closed beta.
Oh.
And that already happened. Like Kevin and Vinny have both been in line for that forever, and they both got their keys today and yesterday. So,
nice.
If you have not played that, you'll be able to play it real soon. It's fun.
There's that. A couple other games. There's Dreams.
So, are you guys familiar with this?
Not really. I'm looking at the trailer, and it's
really interesting.
Strange.
It's not a game as much as it is a game that lets you create content for other people.
No.
And so the idea behind it is that you'll actually be able to make games or experiences or levels or rooms or things and then share them out. So all the content in this is actually going to be created by the players.
Okay.
It's from the people that made Little Big Planet.
Okay.
It's been one of those like, hey, Dreams is coming. Dreams, it looks cool. Yeah, we're doing all these crazy impossible things. I'm coming, I promise. And, hasn't done it. And they showed this trailer. It looks amazing. And then it was demoable at PSX.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And I've heard it's absolutely amazing. That's a huge one to watch.
Cool. There's another game, which I just love the title. It's called GTFO.
GTFO. It looks like I actually thought it was an Aliens game, like Aliens, the movie Aliens.
Right.
It has totally that aesthetic. The bad guys look like aliens, but it's like a 4-player shooter. The aesthetic of it is really cool.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So worth looking at.
Yeah, another Metro game, Metro Exodus.
Yeah, so they had a trailer at E3. Looks great. Still looks great. I mean, probably one of the better looking games I've ever seen. This is the one where you were fighting the mutant bear thing, and then ran on the train at E3. It looks really good.
It looks insane.
And
Last
Battlegrounds.
but not least,
they just showed
PUBG.
Miramar.
What's that?
They just showed the Miramar level. It was great.
So there's that. Some of the winners, real quick. I think we talked about some of them. Yeah, Game of the Year obviously went to, well, not obviously, because it was either Mario or Zelda. Yeah. So, and it went to Zelda. A lot of people were kind of irritated that not Biohazard, but Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
They got kind of
shafted. Yeah. Such a good game too. I would have liked to see them win soundtrack. I thought their soundtrack was great. I thought they could have easily had best performer.
Right.
The woman who plays Alloy is amazing. So.
Cool. And then one other little bit that happened at the Game Awards, he kind of went on a rant.
Yeah, and so this is the guy. Do you remember? He's the developer of. Oh shoot. That co-op game that you have to play. Yeah, Way Out.
Yeah.
And it's that game where you're it's like a prison break where you have to play it co-op split screen. Kind of got up on stage and Jeff Keighley, I think, the guy who runs the Game Awards, is like, hey, tell us about this new game. We're going to show stuff. And the guy just got up and ranted for 4.5 minutes about, F the Oscars and loot boxes are stupid. Oh, but EA's cool. They're publishing my game. And just it was just all over the place. And they kind of interviewed him the next day. They're like, what happened, dude? He's like, oh, I'm just very passionate. And, I didn't actually mean the Oscars suck. He's a movie guy, so he's made movies. I just meant that, we shouldn't try to compare ourselves to movies. Games are a different medium, and you don't need to constantly be whatever. But I mean, the long and short of it, this guy is very decisive. Either people are like, oh my god, that was the best part of the Game Awards, this dude getting up and ranting and flipping off the camera and whatever. But there's a real undercurrent of yeah, but do you really he's the guy that everyone who searches for anything about video games for the next 6 months is going to see Dude McDude Bro getting up, flipping off the camera and F the Oscars. And like, is that the guy we want representing games? But also, if you have a platform like the Game Awards, they announced yesterday that 11.5 million people watched this.
Wow.
Is that
the message you want?
Is that the message you want to send?
Seeing?
And that was my next thing, is that Donald Mustard from Epic, before they got up and talked about Fortnite, same thing, Jeff, I think it's Keighley, I hope it's Keighley.
Sure, that guy.
Said, so, hey, Fortnite's kind of known for accidentally turning on crossplay. Like, is that something you guys are going to do again? And, like, you could tell that he had not prepared to answer that question. But what he said was, quote, look, Fortnite is even better when you're playing with your real friends, and due to platform restrictions, there are some players that aren't able to play with their friends and are left out. Gamers want crossplay, and we are committed to doing whatever it takes to make that happen. Players deserve it. And to me, that's the thing that you use your message for, not this dude. I mean, he was all over the place. And the guy like, hey, okay, let's talk about your game now. No, let's, that's what you use your message for when you have a platform.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it would be really nice if the big Sony would listen up and give us crossplay.
Yeah.
We deserve it. We want it. So, yeah. All right, there's all your news. Lots of news. Well, lots of stuff in our news. Let's do that.
News.
All right, time for our questions. We have got one from Hijump, from Mansocks, which...
It's brilliant.
Your question. Edsterturbo, but we always start our questions off with our one and only...
Hey, yo, Vinny.
That guy.
What are you doing?
He's probably listening to this
Playing
right now,
video
wanting
games?
to hear our answer.
He's not.
Well, not right now.
Are you listening?
But right now, his time.
Oh, yeah. No. Right now, I think he's probably taking a final or something.
He's writing a 15-page paper on genocide.
Vinny's question this week: if you were to take a character and drop him, her, or it into another game world, where would it be? What would be their objective in the new world? And why'd you pick this world? I'd drop Kratos into Ori. Done.
I knew it.
I like that Adam's new answer for everything is just Kratos somewhere. Nothing wrong
Kratos
with that.
in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
No.
Actually, I would like to see Mario in God of War. That's what. That was more Mickey.
That was
very
Mickey Mouse, but
still,
whatever. It's all good.
Could you imagine poor Mario trying to take down like a griffin or something by bopping on its head?
I can imagine Mickey Mouse doing that. I've seen him do it. That dude's tough in the Kingdom Hearts games.
Is he? I've not played them.
They're so good.
I know.
He kicks some very serious Mickey. So that's good. Man, I don't know. How about? Do you have any ideas, Dylan? You always have good ideas.
You always have really good ones. Tell us, please.
Again, this is another ripe for Duke Nukem.
So don't ever make fun of me for going like directly to Kratos.
Yeah, all Duke Nukem.
Right.
That's because he's just a bro, though. Like, put bro in
anything, and
it's funny. Like, Kratos. Yeah. Kratos is really funny in this instance as well. So, let me think for a second.
All right.
Okay.
How about I mix the guys from Dig Dug and put them into SteamWorld Dig? It's like they could play it like a competitive, like who can get to the thing faster. Like you're a little steam-driven robot, or the guy who actually digs and explodes things.
I've not played SteamWorld Dig yet.
Oh God, you got to play SteamWorld Dig. It's so they're both like the first one you can pick up super cheap all the time too. It's like often $5 on Steam sales. Right. It's totally worth it.
I actually have it on the PC.
Good. Yeah, for $20 on the Switch, it's the perfect Switch game too. It plays portably amazingly well. So
I would do that.
Anyway, Dylan, is that enough time?
What would their objective be? Oh, objective.
He's trying to, like, I think it's maybe that's like a multiplayer version of SteamWorld Dig. And one of you plays as the steam-driven robot guy, and the other plays as actually Dig Dug to see who can get to some objective. I didn't have time to fully flesh out, the story.
Yeah. Well, I kind of imagine them like they're both simultaneously digging.
Yeah.
And then they dig into each other.
Ooh.
And they're like,
oh, jeez.
And then it turns into a love story. And then they pursue.
Can a robot love whatever a Dig Dug is? I don't remember. Is Dig Dug a person?
I think Dig Dug's a person because his name's Doug.
But his name's Doug, D-U-G.
Yeah, it's past tense of dig.
All right, good enough.
I dig. I dug.
Do you not have a game then?
I'm stalling.
Okay.
We'll come back if you think of something. We'll go to Edsterturbo.
Yeah,
I took Edsterturbo's new name away too.
Edsterturbo says
it's my power.
Which game you played? Okay, yeah. Which game you played had an amazing build-up for the final conclusion? His favorite is Saints Row 3, having to save Kinsey.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Kinsey with a countdown and I Need a Hero blasting in the background. That sounds amazing.
Have you played any of the Saints Row games? I played
Saints Row 1 and 2.
Nah, you got to play 3 and 4.
Yeah,
3 and 4 is so good.
They get wacky.
They're so wacky, but like they use soundtrack so well, and they use like over the top violence, and it's fun. It's super fun.
My game actually for this had an amazing build up for that final conclusion would be Abzu.
Oh yeah.
So like that game is just it's more of an experience obviously, and it's very relaxing or whatever, but the very last couple
with all the explosions and
the explosions and the constant forward momentum and the music and the building and the swelling of the orchestra and on and on and on. Yeah. It just that game at a certain point just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and moving you forward and not necessarily
it went
faster.
From you pushing yourself forward to the game almost pulling you forward.
Just the last 5 to 10 minutes of that game was just this nonstop up and up and up and up and up crescendo to this giant thing. Yep. And it was just so satisfying, just the way you felt, and not necessily what you saw or did.
I adored that game. I absolutely adored that game.
I loved how that game just kind of built you up at that ending. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Do you want me to go? Yeah, Inside for me, like the last half hour of Inside was.
It's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, like I mean that game went from. Is it spoiler? The game's been out for like a year now, right?
Yeah. I mean it went from pretty wackadoodle to begin with.
It went from like
creepy
wackadoodle to like. What? Why am I a giant blob with arms and legs and heads? And what's going on? Why? What?
It was.
I mean, literally, I will say this over and over and over and over again. If you haven't played Inside, you're doing yourself a disservice. Mm-hmm. It is such a good game.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, just because it was recent.
Yeah, they actually just released that as a double pack you can buy physically, I believe.
Oh really?
Inside and Limbo, which are both great. So.
Oh nice. Yeah, I've not played Limbo. I know.
Limbo's great.
I heard it's good.
It's not as good as Inside, but it's still very, very good.
Right.
Cheap too. I mean, the game's old. It's good.
So Mansocks, I don't understand you, but your question. I don't understand your questions even more. But okay. When playing Mario Kart, who is your go-to character? Follow up. What's your favorite type of casserole?
He didn't actually say follow up. He just threw out a bunch of questions, and so I put those two together.
Thank you.
Mansocks is Hans. He co-hosted episode 42. Good guy.
Who's your go-to character in Mario Kart?
I usually just kind of randomly pick someone. I don't play enough Mario Kart to. Is there any difference between the different characters?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
between the characters?
Yeah.
I thought there was difference between the carts and the way you build out your
the smaller,
cart.
The medium, and large characters. Yeah, they're all different.
Oh, look at me not knowing that.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I usually play medium-sized characters with the standard carts.
Yeah.
What's the difference between them?
Speed. I mean, all the things that your carts,
speed, acceleration,
handling, they all handle differently. Huh. Like a lot of people, I remember I think it was Mario Kart Wii, like one of the faster combinations, was Funky Kong on the bike. Like that was one of the fastest.
Huh.
You could achieve the best times with those.
Interesting.
So, I usually play like Yoshi.
Interesting.
I usually play Mario.
Yoshi a lot.
Dry
Mario
Bones is fun.
I usually play Yoshi or one of the multitude of princesses.
Yeah. I usually don't play the little, and I think you can, like, if you're a little character, you can get bumped around by the big guys. For example.
Interesting. See, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And I'll sometimes play the bigger characters like Bowser.
The more you know. Little star thing. What's your favorite casserole?
My favorite casserole. I'm going to go with the good old-fashioned tuna noodle casserole. I know.
I like tuna casserole, but I kind of like a chicken rice casserole.
Okay.
I literally can't imagine something I want to put in my mouth less than tuna casserole. That sounds horrible.
I make fun of Kevin for making like the tuna melts because I think hot tuna fish with it just gags me. But for whatever reason, I can do noodles and peas and cream of mushroom soup and tuna and blah, 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 and all that. I can mix that all up and eat it just fine.
Every once in a while I'll come home and I'm like, why does the house smell like fish? My wife's like, I made tuna melts for lunch. I'm like, why in God's name would you do this? She's like,
lady.
Yeah, she's like, well, you used to eat onions and pickles. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
But
your favorite
that sounds
casserole?
horrible. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot of very good vegetarian casseroles. They just don't. I don't think lend themselves very well to it. When I was growing up, though, I had a friend whose mom made tater tot casserole.
Why did I forget about the tater tot casserole?
Okay, so it's not like I don't really remember anything that was in it except like tater tots and meat, and I remember it being absolutely delicious.
Tater tots, bacon, green onions. Cheese.
Seems like there was ground beef in the one I ate.
You could do that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can. Oh yeah.
And
you've never had tachos?
No.
Tater tot nachos.
Oh, that sounds great.
They're amazing.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah. So I remember having that, but I mean that was like probably 25 years ago. So it's been a long time, but I remember it being just delicious.
Yeah, well, thanks for the interesting question there, Mansocks.
It always is.
Last question of the week from Hijump. What's your favorite console controller? And I threw mine out there as we started this out, and you guys were like, what?
No.
Whatever. I know there's a lot of people out there who are going to agree with me.
And they're in the wrong boat with you.
Super awesome people.
You
that
can
I'm
all
going to give
sail in
lots
the
of money
wrong
to.
I'm going to
ocean.
start a poll in our Facebook group, and it's just going to be, is Adam's answer right or wrong?
That's
and we'll
fine.
see where it goes.
I will win.
All right.
My favorite console controller ever was the GameCube controller. I love that controller.
See, the thing, if you said you liked the controller, that's fine, but you're picking it as your favorite controller.
I am picking it as my favorite controller. Absolutely.
It is the second worst to the N64, I think.
Yeah.
Says you.
I have not actually ever used or held one, but it looks awful.
It
looks super cheap.
It's
and it
not
looks
comfortable,
like
and
weird
it's
to hold.
wonky, and
Yeah.
it looks weird, and there's no reason that your two circle buttons should be different sizes.
No.
And there's also like bean-shaped buttons up here, and there's one shoulder button over here, and there's not one over here, and then there's the two trigger buttons. Like, what?
Yeah. The only thing I would argue with Dylan is that I think actually the original NES controller is actually the worst controller ever made.
At least it doesn't have three handles.
It's true. Maybe it's
You don't have three hands.
Maybe it's the second worst.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't share my correct
That's all right.
opinion.
What
about you guys?
What about you, Dylan?
I know what yours is going to be.
Probably the Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
Do you think the? I mean, that's.
I love the Duke, but Xbox One.
Do you think so?
Elite.
So that's what I was going to say. Is the Elite the best controller you've used?
Yes.
Yeah, and I have not used an Elite yet. It's on my wish list. So
And the ability to have extra buttons down below.
It's cool.
So good.
To me, the best one I've used is the Xbox One S controller. It's.
Yeah.
I wish I could objectively say what is different between the S and the original OG. It just feels a little better. Like the build's a little bit better. It feels slightly textured. I love it.
I think it's a little bit of texture.
Yeah, so now, because I bought an Xbox One S controller for my PC when I got that, and I noticed that the Xbox One X controller that it came with, the Project Scorpio one, it doesn't have the texture on it that the One S does.
I thought it did.
Or maybe it's one of them doesn't have this. One of them doesn't have the
maybe
same
you
kind of
didn't get
texture.
an S. Maybe you just got maybe your original one was like an OG Xbox controller. Because I think the X does.
I can't remember.
I do not
correct.
like the Xbox One X controller, the Scorpio edition, because
I don't like the buttons.
I don't like the buttons. I don't like you can't see them.
Yeah, you can't see them for one. But two, does either of yours stick in a weird way?
No.
Kind of. Okay, mine does. I think I might have just gotten a wonky controller.
Oh, that's a
because
bummer.
one of the first things I asked you when I got it was, this rumble pack, like it rumbled so
much.
loud. I thought it was literally going to fly apart. It sounded like a bunch of plastic rattling around.
No, mine's fine. I just don't like that you can't. I mean, it's such a dumb thing. Like I
'Cause you
should
know the buttons.
I should know where the buttons are, but like when I'm doing things, I know where they are. But then it's like some dumb quick time event. They're like hit X. I'm like, oh crap, which one's X?
one's
I
that?
look down. I'm
Yeah.
like, crap, which one's X?
Yeah, you can't see
So
it.
I don't like that. But
Oh, okay.
besides that, and mine seems to disconnect more than my other one does too. So whatever.
well.
I have
11 teens.
6 of them or 7 of them. So
I think you're
So
fine.
easy.
It just sucks that the one that's got the Project Scorpio branding on
right,
it is the one that's like,
that I'm not going to use.
yeah.
Whatever.
Blah.
It could be the one I keep and keep pretty.
Yeah, you
know.
could put it in a shadow box.
I'm going to put it in a shadow box.
Adam finally got an Xbox.
It's good.
Shout out to the Duke, though.
Yeah,
the
I
OG
love the
Xbox
Duke.
controller, the big one.
The thing
Yeah.
that was it was the size of your face.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
got real big hands. It fits.
I can
so
hold a
perfect for
Whopper,
me.
Adam.
Yeah.
I can hold a Whopper. I don't have tiny
Yeah,
hands.
no, it felt. I
need a
love the
big
original
controller.
Duke.
The
I
Duke.
did.
Well, they're making it.
They already
making
did.
another
Came
one?
out. Yeah,
Oh, is it already out?
happened. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
I want to throw Duke Nukem and Kratos into Portal. Portal 2.
Portal 2, so they
because
have to
they're
co-op it.
co-op.
Yeah. Good call, man.
That's fine.
There.
What if we threw them into the Bridge Constructor Portal?
I'm kind of excited about that game. Like, I shouldn't be, but I'm kind of excited about that
super
game.
excited.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
We
And,
should. So that last question was from Hijump. We should shout out to him. He's a super cool Twitch streamer. If you want to hit him
Definitely
up,
check him out.
It's Hijump. He does a lot of cool stuff.
And build up final conclusion. Also, Red Dead Redemption
Is
for Edsterturbo's question. The amazing build up.
Oh,
for the final
amazing
conclusion.
build-up. Gotcha. I'm like, why
I
are you just doing
hated
this
the
thing
ending
now?
of Red Dead though.
See, I
really
like-
not
hated
finished
the
it. I
ending.
don't know.
See, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I like that
Wait,
kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure we can legit spoil like 6-year-old games.
It's
can't we?
in the last generation, so but I like that kind of stuff, so that's
Yeah.
why.
Was it like a Sixth Sense-y kind of twist?
No,
No, not at all.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't always pan out.
Yeah. The thing is like I was fine with that kind of ending in Firewatch. Like things don't always work out the way you want them to, but good lord, I wanted that game to end differently. And like I mean, I legit know that it probably couldn't end differently.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but damn it, I wanted it to.
Yeah. I think that's why it matters so much, though, too, is because like
Could have been.
you're really pulling for it, and
Yeah, but when I put like 30 hours into a game, like, can I have an ending I like?
it's also true.
So
All
anyway,
right. Well, thank you for the questions. If you have questions for us, you can send them to bitemepodcast.com, or you can just
come
ask
to
us.
our Discord.
Yeah.
There's actually a questions channel in Discord.
I know I need to get back into Discord more
all right.
often lately.
Yeah, we
It's
got one
stupid.
recently that didn't quite make it on the cut this week, so I think.
Oh yeah, the one from Josh. We'll get that. If it's okay with you guys, I was actually thinking that next week we could do kind of our best of 2017.
The best of Bite Me podcast
and then
episode.
Are you guys going to both be here the week of Christmas?
I think
No.
so.
Screw you.
I am not. Sorry about it.
So Dylan and I, and probably just Dylan and I, because Vicky's gone too, will do a looking forward to 2018.
Okay, fine. Do that without me. It's whatever.
Well, we could do that the first week.
Right.
Oh, maybe we'll take that week off. Who knows?
Anyway, yeah, if you got questions for us, you can always find us somewhere online and let us know. Wrapping it up real quick, got some cheap free games to talk about right now. You can get a couple of Ubisoft classics on PC for free this December.
And actually
exactly
just
how you
one.
do. Just the one?
Yeah, the other one expired on the 11th or something.
Boo.
But you can get, but that's actually okay because it was like
Yeah, what was
some
it?
game I've never heard of. But the one you can get free right now is if you're on PC and you have the Ubisoft Uplay client, which is their dumb, stupid thing like
Right.
Steam that isn't Steam.
And if you buy a Ubisoft game through Steam, you'll open it in Steam, and then it will launch the Uplay, and then
Are
it
you
will launch the
serious?
game.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
So-
ridiculous.
It's real dumb, but whatever. The only reason I have the Uplay client is because they give out games for free occasionally,
Like this.
like this one. And this is Assassin's Creed 4, Black
Is that Black
Flag,
Flag?
which is arguably the best Assassin's Creed game.
Probably.
Yeah, it's-
2 was really good, but
Yeah, I think 4, like, and I have not played a ton of it, so I can't, like, I'm speaking from the experience of others.
it's cool because it was different too, right? Because
Right.
it had
And
a
it's
little
got
different
pirates.
vibe.
Like, who doesn't love
Everyone
pirates?
loves pirates and booty.
Yeah. Pirate booty. Like the popcorny kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, pirate booty.
The other game that you weren't able to get, by the way, was called World in Conflict.
Yeah, didn't play it. Whatever. But no, Assassin's Creed 4 is really, 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 really worth it. If you were on a PC, you probably should, or not on a PC. I believe that was free Games with Gold on the Xbox
Yeah,
at some point. So if you don't have it on the PC, you might have it on the Xbox if you're good about getting your Games with Gold.
And when did this come out? What, 2010, 11?
Yeah, it's a little while ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I played it.
It was an early Xbox One generation.
Yeah,
game,
I
right?
played it on the Xbox recently because I just wanted to try it. 2013, so it's only
okay.
4 years old. It's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam. It's definitely a good game.
Nice.
So for
I need to
free,
give it a play.
try it.
'cause
Yeah, it's fun.
I just got burnt out on Assassin's Creed a little bit by the time I got to that one. I think that.
Oh, you need to get to get into
Origins is real good. I'm
Changes
enjoying
it
it.
up. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Do it.
But I bought Skyrim. I'm going to play that again
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
God.
On the
What
Switch?
system?
on Xbox. I got the special edition. It was $20.
I know.
See, and I think if I'm going to buy it again, I'm going to buy it on
haven't
the
played in
PC so I
5
can mod
years,
it.
so-
I know you can mod it on the Xbox too, but I don't know.
Still going on though right now is the Humble Bundle Yogscast Jingle Jam.
Yeah,
That is $35
Jingle Jam.
for
it's so worth it. There's, I mean,
almost $900 worth of stuff.
well, and I don't know how many games. Let's see. So there's 5 games a row, 5, 10, 15,
25 games.
20, 25, no, 30, 35, So as of today, there's 38 games they've already given away because they're giving out like 2 or 3, and not all of them are games. Some of them are expansions, some of them are costumes, some of them are stuff. But they're giving out like there's 35 things they've given away, or 38 things they've given away already. They're giving out 2 or 3 things a day.
All the things.
Yeah, tons of stuff.
So many things.
Last week they gave out. Or not last week, but a couple days ago, they gave out Scanner Sombre, which is looks awesome. It's that game where you can't see until you use like echolocation to.
Oh yeah,
it's not the horror game, but it's the other one.
Yeah.
That was better.
Maybe I don't know.
There's a lot of stuff in
here.
They
gave out Train Valley, which is a really cool like train game. It's super fun. They gave out Headlander, which is got really good reviews. I actually bought that, and it looks like tons of fun. There's just, I mean, for $35, you're going to get well worth the value of what you're going to play. So if you have a PC, like just go buy it. It's totally going to be worth it. It's super fun. I think by the end of this, there'll probably be 50 or 60 things contained inside of it. So
very cool.
It's good.
Yeah, so go do that. And that's going to do it.
Hey, we made it again.
Yeah. So cool. So thanks for listening to our show. You can always find our stuff online at bitemepodcast.com, BYTEMepodcast.com, or any of the social medias at Bite Me Podcast.
We got Twitters, we got Facebooks, we have a Facebook group now. I was really good about
still get confused about.
I was posting it last week and then I've been super busy this week. It's been a bad week. I think
like
Christmas
we work for the Christmas station around Christmas time.
Right?
It's real weird.
Well, last week we had a country station or a rock station. Now we have a country station. It's very busy. Very, very, very busy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about my real work.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. So
find us online, get into our Discord, let us know what you think.
The Discord's fun.
Yeah.
It really is. Like it's active, I think, most in the mornings, and like in the evenings there tends to be a little lull in the afternoon, but it's people are cool in there. Like the person that joined, like she's like, I don't normally join communities, but I thought that yours would be cool because your podcast. And I'm like, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
And I know that we've talked about this before. We've evidently got a large listenership in Missouri.
Thank you, Missouri.
I would like somebody who's listening to this from Missouri to please join our Discord.
And tell us.
And represent.
Yeah, seriously. Well, because I lived there for a while. I lived there for 5-6 years. So, like, I'd love to know where you're at in Missouri because we might, know the same people. It's not that big of a state.
You got family there.
I think I have family there, too.
Yeah, I got a lot of family there.
Somewhere over there.
It's just your brother listening.
Right.
And telling everyone that he knows.
He's actually just hacking into all these computers and phones and mobile devices and playing the podcast.
Going into every library in the county and just logging it all in and downloading.
If so, your brother's my favorite person.
There you go. All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week. Until then, you can just bite me.